This will call to order the Nottoway County Board of Supervisors work session, March 12th, 2026, 7 p.m. We're live at the Emergency Operations Center. It is on YouTube. Anybody can stream and watch it. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Is there anyone like to do the invitations?
I'll do it.
You want to do it?
Dear graceful Heavenly Father, thank you for this time together, Lord Jesus, as we try to make the best decision for Nottoway County and its citizens. Lord Jesus, thank you for man not being able to control the weather, Lord, but it has been a little different, Lord Jesus, but we thank you for the moisture. Heavenly Father, we ask you to guide us, direct us, pray for our country, Lord Jesus, pray for our state and our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We've got an agenda. Are there any amendments or changes to the agenda, or I'll take a motion to approve it as is?
Mr. Chairman, did you want to, about the convenience center sites, did you want to add, or you want to do that at a different time?
Let's have we'll do that next, after we have a meeting.
Okay.
And then Mr. Norton had talked to Waste Management also, so we'll have two of them we can compare.
Okay.
We'll not add, let's wait till we have more information.
Okay.
All right, and then take a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, discussion, siting agreement setbacks. So we got our changes, we got the map, and we have an understanding now of, rather than their language was just less than, now we know who's affected, and they got it down to, I guess the exhibit's in here or not? You got a copy? So they got it down to 3 people under,
Oh, you look for the diagram.
yeah, you get it up on, it's stapled to the backup.
Yeah, look towards the end.
Yeah, you just have it printed out on a big piece of paper so you can read it.
It was kind of hard to make it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tiny. So over on the right, you'll see the habitable dwelling setback. So that tells us who it affects, who's closest to the fence. It's less people than it was the other night. Ampliform is supposed to provide us with data that shows us if we start to step back further, what loss of megawatts that is. She called me the other day, they had done it, but I don't think they've sent it to us yet. So at least then we have the data to make a decision based on, okay, these 3 citizens are closest to the fence. If we move back from them, then the impact is X megawatts, which we then translate into dollars. We added the DEQ matching fines. So if they get fined, then Nottoway gets the same amount. Bo had them add the agrivoltaics, the preference for agrivoltaics, which is grazing. That would be a better use of the land to be able to still use it agriculturally. Then was there one other thing? Or just, I think it's just,
that's it.
yeah. So those 2 items in language, and then, so you still don't have a hard setback, but we do have the knowledge of who's affected.
I can't tell where this thing is, where it draws.
They don't want you to, probably. The way I figured it, they didn't want me to, the way it was drawn up there, a little bitty like that.
You can zoom in on
I'm trying to find where the roads are.
this one is, that's the railroad.
Why can't you put that thing on the screen again?
We'll get it on the screen. That would be good. I can zoom it.
They
said they were going to.
Told me they didn't know how many would need.
It's over 70.
were you over 70.
Yes, sir.
But with this schematic that she's trying to pull up, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong or right on this one, but it's to put it to the max of 100.
Well, right now, that's what they're doing. They're maximizing the landowner's land to get to the 100. So anything that we take away, decreases your landowners what they're receiving. It would decrease, if you're decreasing acreage, you're decreasing megawatts, which decreases the site agreement fees.
Roads, cannot tell.
You also don't want to have this thing sitting on somebody's front porch, so.
I found out those three trailers they were talking about,
On Harper. Harper.
off of Hopper Road, yeah. They are rented. The gentleman who owns them has passed away. I'm assuming that, fellow I talked to said he thought maybe it was the nieces or children or whatever were living in them now.
Yeah, it's still showing up as him, and Sharon.
Berkeley was his
So
last
those,
name.
so those three closest are tenants? They're not the owners of primary residence?
Well, they may be the owners now. All I know is the gentleman that owned it passed away. And so, and he also, the gentleman also told me there's a cemetery there, and another person buried there as a former slave. So there's a cemetery close to those trails. I don't know exactly where on the site. And I do know that there's a fence cemetery on the other side of Lone Pine, in the middle of one of those fields that they're talking about putting these panels.
In writing.
And that's to the, let's see, Mallory Creek runs down. The other thing that I tried to bring up the other day was the fact that these bridges on that road,
Yeah.
the bridge across Mallory Creek is only 4 tons.
Yeah. In other words,
Weight
the
limit.
ones that are saying it's less than 300 feet, that they would be okay with it.
Well, they've got to follow the, follow the law.
And the other one
They
was,
can't cross.
Can't go across that one, I wouldn't think. They're gonna have to come in another way. And the problem's gonna be, and I think the guy addressed it the other day, they cannot park any vehicle on one of those roads.
Yeah.
Because the roads are so narrow. So they're gonna have to have a parking space off the road.
They have laydown yards, construction yards.
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
they have to build the VDOT standards and stuff.
That's right, yeah.
And the other person, Ms. Collins, is, Shirley Allen, and she's on, I believe, she's really close to the other panels. She's number 3.
Okay, is she, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And they're all notified and everything, so.
I
thought it was one that actually pointed to the house. You know,
There is one
What
somewhere.
has the
Greg had
circles?
one.
These are the circles. So there's a house in each of these little, the one with the little circles.
Greg got one with all of them.
Yeah, can you show that one, Andrew? See that helps. Take out.
Greg's got one with all of them. See that?
Yeah, here you go. This, you guys, I've been looking at this once, for a while.
Right, aren't the yellow pins, they match with your pink and blue list, and those are non-participating, they're not part of the project parcels.
What is not part of the project?
The yellow pin map, and it's attached to your other set, and it's got that pink and blue that you're holding right in front of you, Greg, that chart, the Excel chart on the pink and blue.
Yeah.
Those are non-participating, right? And that is what corresponds with the yellow pins. Those are within the 1,200 feet, but they are not part of the project. What's my understanding?
They're just a habitable dwelling
Yes.
Within 1,200 feet. of
within
the project
1,200
area.
feet.
These here.
That list right there, right.
That list corresponds with the map that has the yellow pins on it.
Oh, and it's got the foot
Number-
sit back. Yeah, okay.
That list is numbered.
That's probably the best one you look at.
And which one of these did you want, Steve? I couldn't see which one.
And I asked the Amplify
Yeah.
people when
I
we went
thought-
to meet with them. I said, if y'all
That's the
talked to
pin.
those people,
That's the pin.
their response was, well, we had 2 public meetings. I said, that's not what I asked you. I said, if you talk to those people, you want to be within 200 feet of.
And they have-
No.
And those, Ms. Rodriguez was out knocking on doors. That many days ago. I called about something. She was out there.
You sure she was knocking on doors?
I could hear the birds in the backyard. Heard the crow. There was a crow up there.
But they said that they were done.
Crows in the county building.
I didn't know that particular crow.
I ran mad. He had told us it's gonna be additional
Additional what?
holding ponds
And then would have been
as far as runoff, but I don't see that.
You got the stormwater map? Yeah, there's 77 basins. This is in the concept plan. This will be in the packet.
So that's outside of the siting agreement. The concept plan is
So that's further. down the road.
That's this.
That's right.
Okay.
For good or bad, DEQ is pretty much gonna tell them where their BMPs have to be.
BMP breast management, right?
Yeah, the stormwater detention ponds.
Are you looking for them 2 trailers stick?
I can't find a, if I could figure out where the roads are, I could maybe. Here they are, right here. So that's Harper Road right there. So this must be,
Yeah, 1 and 3.
this must be Lone Pine. And that's,
Oh, I see, 1 and 3 is those trailers at the very end of it.
right over here. Well, suppose there is they got proposed access road. Well, Harper Road is a dirt road.
So all these improvement things are proposed basins, right?
Harper Road is a dirt road. Y'all might remember one of our meetings, I got on the errand, taking a look at Harper Road and fixing it up. But, that's dirt off of, it's a sharp curve there where you get on Harper Road. Coming up from Mallory Creek, you come up, and to get on Harper, you gotta turn left. If you're coming from toward Cruz, if you're coming from Berkeley, you want to turn right. And it's a kind of a sharp curve there. So let me see here. And he told me, isn't it Vernon?
And other little few meditation and all that. He would 8 of them. I mean, no, 7 of them.
So to make sure I understand, that, y'all help me on my legal side. Monday night, the public hearing is for this solar site agreement and the performance agreement?
Mhm.
Correct, am I right?
Well, I think you said the performance agreement, we didn't have to have a
Where is
no public hearing.
So because we just advertised for the site agreement. didn't we? Okay, so
The
if
performance
this
agreement
does,
is just a
if
vote.
this does not get approved, we don't have the other 4 public hearings Thursday night.
Don't forget Tuesday night.
Well, I know the
Yeah.
planning commission, but what I'm just saying, well, you know, it wouldn't be anything Tuesday night either.
Right.
Right. If that-
So
that's all right.
what we can do on Monday is we could get a motion and vote approval
Mhm.
for as it is.
Mhm.
We could have discussion. The supervisor said, well, these 3 houses, these 11 houses, let's move it back. So we make that motion. And that would approve it still, correct?
There's less money, less panels.
Less,
Okay.
it's less to your landowners, less megawatts, less panels. But we can make that change on Monday night.
But wouldn't it be
And vote.
see if it's okay?
Well, that's the thing with special exceptions.
We don't have to go back and do this again.
It's not an agreement. It's a, here's how it's gonna be in order to make it acceptable.
But on those 6 landowners that's under 300 foot, if we could reach out to them,
Less than 200 foot vote.
Some of them.
3, well, the first 6 on this right here, this thing, right here's your footage. Did you see that?
We saw that the other day.
All right, so you got, there's 6 of them that's less than 300 foot.
And 2 of them are like 160 to 200.
Three of them, one of them is 186 is the least I've seen.
A lot of them are less than they say about football.
That's exactly right.
So
But if you reach out to them 6 and explain to them, because they're willing to double the vegetation that they're gonna plant. And they don't have a problem.
Why
with it.
should we reach out to them?
We shouldn't.
Ampliform should
That's
reach
what I'm
out to
talking
them,
about. That's right.
not us.
That's right. Reach out to them and ask them. Maybe they don't have any problem with it at all. And they say, yeah, if you're gonna double the vegetation, they sign off on it.
So you can, but let's say they did have problems, so you could still,
Then we can say
you can
300
admit,
foot.
yeah, these 6 houses, we're not gonna be less than 300 feet.
Right.
And then
And go from there.
and that's legal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if y'all saw the vegetation pictures that I saw, some of them were gonna be blocking it in 10 years. The ones they showed the other day, that I was sitting there looking at. It's gonna be 10 years you could still see it. So, I mean, you know, it just. Then also, and I made this comment yesterday, after you and Steve, they said, well, no, you don't have to worry about this house because it's already got trees behind it. And the person who we're talking to, he said, you cannot use the landowner's stuff to block. You've got to have your own block. The solar company has to put their own screen
It's
up.
that natural buffer.
So that would just be in addition too, because he might want to cut those trees.
Exactly. He said it cut the guy, well, the landowner might want to cut his trees down. Then what do you got? You got a straight shot.
You can't count on existing natural buffer.
Right.
You have to have additional buffer.
That they're responsible. I guess, does anybody have any other questions, suggestions, additions? Everybody understand what we can do on Monday night?
I mean, you know, to get a true picture, I guess the public comes in, you want us to try to put up a big zip, try to blow up something so they can see it.
That's what
That'd be
bothers me,
ample
'cause
to
the
do
public doesn't know.
Well, you're right, Amphorn should do
And
that.
they willing to do that, they told me.
Okay. They should maybe put that at the entrance of the courthouse. I don't know, I'm trying to make
It
suggestions.
might get torn down, thrown into the garbage.
Bill, you asked if there was any further discussion, I ain't heard nobody.
This is just a bad proposal.
Just for clarification. So if somebody's, this because that's how the conversation started. If somebody's renting a house, they don't get the notification. The one who got the notification is the owner.
And that should be right, that is correct.
That's right, because that's,
right.
okay.
Because he's renting, if one of my tenants don't like it, it's not for them to like, they're free to leave.
They can move.
Just like if I cut the trees down in the yard, he can't tell me I can't cut my trees down in my yard if my tenant does. It's mine.
What did you say, Bill?
Right.
The tenant is able to move
Yeah.
if they don't like.
Right.
That's just how. the public
What
knows.
reason I was asking
Oh,
that question,
clarification.
because, right, because if somebody goes to that house that's renting and they say, well, no, I don't want that,
Oh, they might not even be landlord.
they're not making landlord. See what
I
I'm saying?
see.
I'm asking, does it hold water for more than others? That's what I'm
Oh, yeah, I
clarifying.
see what you're saying.
Because y'all said, I heard John say, hey, has anybody went to these people? Well, if they go to that person and ask, they're renting.
Yeah, the only way you really could do that in time is lapse to send the letter to the person that gets the tax, then you sure to get the landlord.
I don't know what the situation is with those trails, like I said. I was told that the owner died, and there were people living there, I don't know whether it's 10 people or what, but there are people living there. And they also made the comment, well, there's a cemetery close by that they're really close to. So, that's all I know about it.
And the state would have laws in effect to keep them so many feet from a cemetery. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Yeah, they have to show it, on a plat of some sort of, have it demarcated.
Recognize.
Yes, sir. And also
Can't
they
block
have to
access.
allow it. They have to allow people to visit that. And
As long as
but
they
there are
can't-
certain
As long as
hours.
they can to.
Yes. Well, no, just, I mean, people could just.
You can't block.
Geological research now have a right to
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good, I want to get some cemeteries up and trying to get to.
Just plot them in, but it's just common courtesy, aside being in state code, that you reach out, you work out something.
Right.
And the property owner will tell you, these are good days when you can come, so forth.
All right, so with this discussion, it seems like we've discussed it for years. Is there anything on this particular siting agreement anybody else wants to address prior to Monday night? After we hear from the public, and then we'll see what motions are available. Or who wants to make them. All right, well, we'll move on. This one's gonna be Administrator Bowen, lease with Total Life Center of Southside, Virginia.
You know, we don't need Mr. Lockerbie anymore?
I don't know, I don't think so. Mr.
You
Lockerbie, that
ride
was
all
easy.
with Roanoke for that, did you?
I came from Roanoke, but I'm headed to Hampton Roads. I'm headed
So you're gonna split the mileage with Hampton Roads?
Oh, yeah. I absolutely am.
That's good.
Hampton
I
Roads
like it.
have a lot more revenue than we do.
And you were going that way anyway.
I hear that so many times. You was going that way anyway. I said, yeah, but I didn't have to come to you.
You say that. I mean, I recognize you guys got 100 million in revenue. They got 3 billion for each one of those localities. So-
All right, well, thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. All right. Well,
Safe
I'll
travels.
see you on Monday.
See you Monday.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right.
When are we gonna really dip into the seats?
All right, this is Administrator Bowen Lease with Total Life Center of
All right.
Southside Virginia.
So, I
This
had
is
not
a discussion, I guess.
just discussion, and I haven't talked to, Mr. Elder about it at all. Look, we were doing budget and all that kind of stuff, we're trying to figure out how much money it's gonna cost the Berkeley School, so doing that discussion, we realized, and when we had that open meeting the other day, I don't think Bo was there, but I can't remember, some of y'all were there. But we found out that this, Miss Jackie Green August, it's not Feed More. It's not Feed More. It's actually Total Life Center of Southside Virginia. Okay. I
Hope,
did you
Hope
hear that?
Food, isn't it the Hope Food Bank?
Yeah, so basically, replan that meeting. She said that how did they end up in that building? They were giving out food to residents. And then it got cold, and then it got inside the building. And now they in the building and it's 7 freezers and 4 refrigerators. I don't have a lease at all. I mean, here and there, the county owns the building. Technically, they in now, they're paying $200 or $250, which I don't think it takes care of the electricity for that. But and Mr. Rodney, who's a department, the voter register, that's a different situation. This person is different. So I probably need a lease to protect that. In fact, I talked to Morgan Quick the other day. Insurance, they really prefer that because we're having people come in there, and what happened the other day that we had to repair the sprinkler, and the buddy went out there to look, and we were really scared to turn the sprinkler system off. There was so many people there. Something would have happened. So that's really kind of.
But it can be simple as a 30-day renewable lease. Every 30 days it renews itself.
Well, and
That way, if you want to get them out, you ain't got to go through so much.
well, that's what I'm asking. What are y'all thinking then? How much?
Well, I think for Mr. Reynolds, we pay $12,000 a year.
It was close to 10 or something.
To the school.
But yeah, we paid to the school for electricity for this Rob, his department, right? Let's see. I think Andrew, you remember was it 250 she was paying? Let's just say 250. So
The portion of the electric bill wasn't designated.
it wasn't
No,
done
for her, it was like $250
Um,
in that
yeah,
meeting.
but,
But that, we had that meeting and I started the meeting, you weren't there, but I think I told you though. But I started the meeting asking for solutions in regards to the expense. And we really didn't get much help with that. Everybody said, oh, no, it's done. This is free, or I donate, or 501c3s. So the board needs to decide, we kept it for them, then we asked them for solutions for expense. We're selling things that are expense on the other side of the county. So if they're willing to stay there,
Then
and we make them some offers and say, hey, if you're gonna run your exercise program here, then everybody, I think I texted John, like a Burkeville membership card. So if you want to use that as your community center, then every year it's $50. And that gives you access to the food bank, the exercise groups, to use the gym for music. It's your community center. And we have to designate 5 or 6 people that can unlock and lock.
Yeah, restroom stay.
I think it's
And we've got a little bit of time. I mean, if we can figure this out, if we can figure this out before July 1st, before the budget starts. But I was hoping some of them would say, hey, I can do, they've been getting it for free.
They state funded, correct?
Well,
Feed more
is,
a pass-through, I think.
yes.
Right.
This supplement.
And the food is coming from Walmart and Food Line,
Some of it,
some of it.
the meats and stuff, they're coming from.
See, and I asked about the charge, and she looks at it like that they bring in people who work there and that kind of thing. I don't know enough about it. And I'm trying to stop calling it Feed More because.
That's what we always call it, the home food.
Right. But I think legally, when I'm talking to Morgan Quick, it's not healthy to have people come into a place that you own and you don't have some type of something, understanding in
Some
writing.
agreement, well, you should.
Or additionally insured.
As Bo said, it's
Right,
simple
right.
30-day leases, that this is the understanding, you pay this amount.
And it's a renewable
You
automatic.
can
every
use,
30 days.
use our
Check with your
property.
Insurance, if they get hurt and they don't have anything saying they're renting, et cetera,
Right.
then who's liable?
That's right, it comes
So
back
we've
to
always,
us, right.
so in my business, we are always named as additional insured.
Mhm.
So if somebody falls, it's your business, then,
But the
We're
renters
covered by
got
your
to carry
policy.
that insurance.
That's exactly right.
And
That's
well,
what-
the renters carry,
In this group, it's anybody that rents any of this.
But
We
we
have
just stop
state
this
police
electric bill,
use
run,
this
run,
as
run.
well.
Our insurance had to pay. And Rodney's not here for that today, but I'll put him on the spot a little bit. They put that there like Monday through Wednesday, Rodney, can you remember?
That's when they do the distribution. Start at 11. The work there around 9.
there's some coming and going all the time.
They're done around 2:30.
Employees.
Oh, Monday through Wednesday only.
Monday through Wednesday. Now on Friday, there's usually a feed more truck delivery. Friday morning for a couple of hours. They're there, and then that's about it.
Okay. But people come in the building that's regular citizens and more, I don't
They
think
on
they're
Monday through Wednesday,
Uh-huh.
and they have a number system. They pick up a number when they have a date that they're there, one of the 3 days.
Uh-huh.
And then they pick up a number in the morning, and that's how they go through it. pick up the food.
Okay.
Mhm.
See, there's something very similar at Fort Pickett. A lady reached out to me. The volunteers like that, they feed
They do.
200 a month.
Mhm.
And she was worried about selling that area and where to go. Well, why couldn't they partner up? And I know it's plumb on the other end of the county, but it would be better than them not being able to operate it.
Yeah, I think Reverend Jim Hogue has got
It's
involved
the
in that one.
VFW. Yeah, I think that's right.
The one Pickett you're talking about.
Mr. Chairman, I would say that, given the light of some information that just recently come about, we're gonna have to have some discussions about that deal. And I don't know if anybody's gonna be able to use it long term. But I don't want to create a public, panic, but we got a problem. It ain't a $250,000 problem.
So maybe a month to month, John, so I have something in writing. Okay. And just leave the cost as it is.
I would do that because we lose money.
Oh, I know we're losing.
They're not paying their part of electricity.
No, we gotta have an understanding by anybody that walks in that building's gotta be paying rent comparable to rent anywhere else.
Mhm.
Well, the county cannot keep taking the beat and putting it on the backs of the citizens. He can't.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we're trying to get rid of something ticket.
Well, we can't remake what we're getting rid of.
That's right.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, we had a positive meeting with a lot of ideas, but at the end of the day, the building needs to be fixed. And John, I'm not aware of what you're talking about. That sounds pretty serious.
It is, sir.
And if it is, we might not be able to rent month to month either if it's something that resorts that may affect the health, safety, and welfare of the people in the building.
Well, I guess too, it's always the legal part and then I call it the political part. And the political part can be a mess, all that. I just don't want this board to come across like, hey, we don't care about people. We don't care about
That's
people.
exactly right.
You know,
We want you to
that's
be
right.
able to
We just
provide
gotta
that
take
service to
steps.
folks that need it. I talked to a lot of people that they use that service.
Right. So that's one, you be aware of that, whatever we decide to do.
As far as the lease goes, Gary, if we done a month to month, still, you could name out in the lease with a 10-day notice given to either party this lease is terminated, right?
What's a commercial
Probably
lease?
30.
It's a commercial lease, so you've got more rights under a commercial lease than you do under a residential lease.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, if you.
You got
wanted
more rights as being the landowner or the tenant?
Landowner.
Okay.
So, I mean, some of those rights that you have are rights that we wouldn't want to probably
I
exercise against
understand.
an organization like that. But I think based on what I'm hearing, month to month would probably be the most reasonable.
Should be a 30-day notice, but, so they pay their rent and you say, okay, you're out on the 1st next month.
Unless something is habitable like Daphne was talking about that.
Well,
could
you
work
put
it
that,
in.
you put
You
that
can
in
put
there
that
that
in
if
the
there's a
lease.
fire, plumbing, hazard,
Yeah.
But I think too, we need
Storms.
to find out, research what John's talking about before we even discuss going month to month. Because if it's something that severe,
Well, we got to July, right? Is that what we're
well,
talking about?
but Steve's concern is there's nothing in place.
There's nothing.
I mean, we need something there in place to cover us liability wise.
But John, you're not speaking about the building falling apart, nothing like that.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
Not tomorrow.
Nothing that's going to inhibit somebody's welfare while being inside the building.
No, not according to the engineer right now.
okay.
Okay.
All right, so we'll do the 30.
So we've got our list of people, and we know who was in there, so if they're using it, they've got to sign the 30 days.
Okay, and just the other stuff is really, I gotta go looking, I gotta get more involved in it, be able to see who's doing what. But let me just ask you this, just for this total life sentence, since this is on the agenda, what do I, in the lease, normally you put how much they pay, right?
Well,
How much electricity are they using? Because
yeah, she's the majority user of the utility.
Because they got several refrigeration units.
Freezers, they're big ones.
So, no, it's not. I looked that up, trying to figure that. So, the electric bill in January to February, now it's cold, but it was a little over $5,000 in 1 month.
You have to go back to
That's
when
$5,100. Propane was about $1,700.
that, the school's been saying about 80 to run it
For the year.
for the year.
So divide that.
And I know, Rodney, there's no way Rodney's using that much electricity. You know, you need to turn your
68.
The only thing you could do is go back to when, try to see what they put there to see what the bill was, but I don't think we'd be able to.
Well, like Bo was saying, you take his 12,000 out, that puts you about 68,000, divide that times 12, and that's gonna put you.
And divide that by how many tenants are there, and each one will pay that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
Yeah, I don't know anything personally about the building. I don't know how many people are in there, the size of them, but what you're talking about basically is almost like a triple net lease. Is what you call it, where you basically say, you pay for your share of the electricity, you pay for your share of the sidewalk maintenance.
Well, see, Gary, what I was kind of thinking, I was just, when I was brainstorming this thing, I thought, let's take an even figure, let's take $5,200. Figure out the square footage, divide 5,200, like how much square footage. But what's different in this case, she's got 7 freezers and 5 refrigerators. Right, that's where your juice is. It's gotta be.
Well, guys, I think one of the things we can agree to right now is, some sort of a rate. And I think we gotta get, within reason in the area, what are the commercial rates or something like that, and that's what we're gonna have to go with.
I know there's a business that is in the grocery business up there for 600 a month, in the Burkeville market. That real estate market,
600 a month for
for rent, commercial space.
it's cheap.
Then I thought,
But no electricity come with that, right? Because electrical had to go with that name.
Correct,
Right.
just the building.
Just
square foot.
yeah, I even thought about, let's say you had a goal of getting to $10,000 a year. I'm just throwing that out to you, okay?
Mhm.
Then could you do, I mean, it's gonna be a share shock for them people who are paying $200, $250 a year.
It's not because we'll start it.
Well, they gonna
They'll
say
sign a
for the
lease.
good times, but
They're
they-
gonna sign a lease and we can start them 60 days from now, start them July 1st. So we put them in the budget. That way we'll know who's back.
Right.
Who's signing.
How many people are using the building? How many different entities? 3.
No.
No, it's
Well, the state
maybe
police.
maybe 6 different settings.
State police are using.
Not anymore. I was told they stopped using it.
Okay.
Anyway, we got, I think a church meets there
Yeah,
sometime.
instead of.
I've let the
Exercise.
the middle school soft baseball team go in and hit wiffle balls in the wintertime because they're trying to get ready for the season. But I feel like that's
They're part of
that's
it.
part of us.
That's community.
Yeah, that's right.
And with,
That's liability, that'd be under our.
No, it'd be under theirs. They got it. They got
but
it.
with the,
Yeah, the school board.
Somebody like the state
school board's taking
police.
up their School board's responsibility.
somebody like the state police, again, that's a government entity. If Buddy's having training, that's way more of a waiver. Hey, we're gonna train here today.
And then they have some kind of exercise program that stopped because of COVID.
But I can hear citizens now saying, aren't we?
Taxes.
Yeah, aren't we in need and aren't y'all out to help them?
Well,
But we are, but they just need to pay. Feedmore's got a big resource of money.
but here's,
And this is a pass through down to this whole.
and see, that was another thing too, but since you mentioned that, if we sell the, I call it the barracks, and so if you're not careful, you'll be shutting down 2 places people could get food.
And that'll hurt.
Right, I don't know. That's what I was trying to think of. Can we
But
take baby
you
steps?
think about this a minute. If it's hard enough to buy the groceries, the way fuel prices are, they gotta drive, if they living out there close to that, they gotta drive down there in the county. Depending on how much food they get, they might be better off just to go up there, like my mama used to do, get their reduced meat because it's getting ready to go bad on date.
There are other
That's the whole
places
county
in
board.
Blackstone that do food distribution they might partner with.
We need to get a lease in place and need to come up with an amount of money. You said the light bill was how much again?
80,000,
A year?
yes, minus 12 for Mr. Reynolds, so that's 68.
Divide
So
that by how much?
5,000 gets you to 60, so 8 divided by
The
12 is
two we
about,
hadn't even
so
talked about what we brought up
5,400.
the other night. I mean, of moving maybe Nottoway extension down there, and they would pay. So it's
Well,
not
there's-
fair to this group to bear the brunt. I know they're using it, but
That's what they need to pay them
this
off.
is a need-based group of people.
I don't think Virginia Cooperative Extension, they don't pay us anything, do they? Amber?
They don't, but Terry said that in the text, you can get money if they move their location to have a bigger space.
Yeah, because she's more just like.
I just don't, and let me back up. I didn't make a fair statement. I think the freezers and refrigerators is a big chunk. I think that gymnasium is a big chunk, but
The
that
gymnasium is heated with electricity.
yeah, heated all electricity. There's no gas heat in there at all. So in the wintertime, in fact.
well, they couldn't get it up above 63.
No,
or-
but
or they- over the
Buddy
shelter.
couldn't get it warm enough when it got down to
That means
15
an
degrees.
emergency strip was broken.
You were rock and roll. So I'd say that $5,100, that was probably a big chunk right there. So I want to be fair to them.
Right.
Well, you know what I think? I think we ought to just make it a lease right now, 30-day lease. Just charge them what we're charging them now, but then tell them we're making plans. And we may have to go up
Okay.
with the new budget.
Okay.
Make sure they got this list as additionally insured for any and all, 100%.
John and I were just talking about $950. Why don't you put in the lease? If you're still there effective July the 1st, your rent be $950. That'd be still keeping up with that electricity.
I think we're picking numbers out the sky. I think we need some
No,
comparisons.
I didn't think that's that.
No, we did.
Well, we just done the math. Here's how I done it. He said the bill was $80,000 a year. Back at his 12,000. That's 68,000. You got 6 people using it. So divided by 6, that's 11,333. Divide that by 12 months, that's $944.
But are all 6 of them using equal space?
Nope, they're not using equal electricity out.
So how
Without
can,
metering it, you can't. You gotta meter the electricity if you wanna get it 100% accurate. And to change it over to meter electricity in that differently, cost you tens of thousands.
So stick with what we got, comes July 1st, and that gives them time to figure out what they want to do.
It gives plenty of notice.
Can you put Ed,
Let's figure out what we're gonna do.
950 a
You're trying
month?
to figure out how to word that thing to say a 30-day lease mention something all the way to July.
No, that's easy.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, nope, that's not what I'm thinking about.
Okay. Think about the dollar figure?
Mhm.
All right, let's talk about it, because I wanna be fair to them, and I wanna be fair to us. We gotta have a mathematical way of doing it. It's not fair the way I just did it, because as he said, the gym is using a whole lot of electricity.
When you've got square footage leases, you say, okay, per square foot,
But then you got foot traffic leaks, what, if you're using more, if you got 200 people coming a week, and the other person ain't got 20 people coming, he don't have any 200 people coming in your office a week, correct?
Definitely not.
Definitely, until maybe real close to election time or
Yeah.
something like that.
That's only done.
Right.
so if you looked at it and said, okay, it's gonna be $7 per square foot, and you go in and measure what they're using, times 7, then that.
We
is
make
another way
it
to do
too complicated, boys
I'm
and
with you.
girls.
I'm kind of picky on this. What I'd say, you got plenty of time
Right.
if you want to put whatever dollar figure you want to put on it by July 1st. Why don't you just have a lease right now that just
Mention
what
the
they've been
250.
paying? You do it on a 30-day basis and you're all set. You want to
You're
revisit this
responsible-
in 30 days? You want to revisit?
And you're
it in 60?
responsible for your insurance, naming the county as additional insurance.
Yeah, I mean, that's standard.
Right.
But, then I'd say, why don't y'all say, all right, we're going to look at this again in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is.
Figure out the math.
Yeah.
I think
30, 60, 90 days, we'll be right back in here again. Yeah.
we're blowing
The,
stuff.
how soon do they, how quick do they need to have a, insurance plan?
That's what it's
To have it
Sign it,
additionally
they
insured?
call.
Because
So the question there is, who's gonna police it if they're paying month to month on their insurance? I believe that as long as we tell them, you're required to have your own insurance and name us as additional insured.
Yeah, that's just it. So usually you require that they provide a copy of that.
Right, but is it ours to every month?
He said if they don't pay the premium,
they don't have no insurance, will that fall back on us, or since we told them they must provide it, that's still out?
Well, I mean, generally, I'm gonna guess that whatever insurance policy they get is gonna be on an annual basis,
Yeah.
not on a monthly.
Nope.
You think they issue
I
it
see
on a
them, I
monthly?
see them on month to month, I see them 6 months, see them 12 months.
Well, if
Can you
just-
simplify that by just simply telling them no insurance, no occupancy?
Yeah, but I think what Bill's saying is we've gotta have proof of insurance. So yeah, why don't we just put it in the lease then, that each time the lease renews, they've gotta provide along with that
That's fair.
proof of insurance.
Every 30 days?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I like it.
I mean, if they get an insurance policy that covers a year, then they don't have to.
Then they don't have to
provide
provide.
Right.
And that'd be what I do, and if they canceled it because they moved out, they refund them the money anyhow.
Yeah, that's right.
And the only other thing I have with that, Mr. Chairman, is a way to maybe simplify this, the gym's off limits
To them,
to everybody. That floor is due to be redone now anyway. And it cost, I can't remember how much the superintendent told me it costs, but it's not overly expensive, but anything you spend it. They didn't do it, but it's due to be redone, those floors, waxing and all that stuff. And the only way to prevent that and have longer terms between, the waxing and stuff like that is keep the traffic off of. You're talking heels and stuff like that, anything else that comes in there that they're wearing that is not supposed to be on that floor technically.
I need to go up, I would like to go up and walk too,
I would too. I didn't do it. Y'all did it one time, I think, and I didn't go.
a year ago.
Yeah, I didn't do it
Yeah,
then.
it was 250.
250. Yeah, and I agree with what was just said a while ago. The gym's where your money is, but there's no way $250 covering those freezes.
Oh, no, I agree.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way.
There's no way.
Well,
It
the
doesn't make no
acceleration needs to be in this thing too. There's an acceleration in the fee. You did the first one 250, but I mean, you got.
I just gotta keep it at 50 or 40 degrees or whatever. Well, in the winter
We
time.
could consider somebody leasing the gym for some type of,
There are.
Approved
codes you can
program.
get to put on the gym floor.
Yeah, what was that?
we don't have to pay for that.
Oh,
But if there was
If you're worried about traffic.
an adult basketball league or something organized, that was gonna be in gym shoes.
well, that goes back to that $50 a year.
Also go to your place.
But you gotta keep, I still gotta keep power on that gym because it will mess the floor up.
Yes,
Yeah, you
You know what I'm
got
saying? I can't.
Oh, yeah, you gotta be certain temperature.
And that's the trouble, buddy. That's another thing too. I mean, we don't really, if it's a woman's station or code, we just, people just come in how they dress.
That's right, that's right. Those, you don't worry about that.
Well, let's take baby steps then. All right, we'll get the
Gary,
lease.
start working on the lease.
Just leave the 250 right line as it is. Okay.
A citizen called me today, wanted to know, does the county have a place to where he can start doing a annual chili cook-off? Have people from across the country coming to cook these chili. They be spending a lot of tax dollars in Nottoway County if they done.
Talk to Sunshine Lake.
That's what he mentioned. They'll never go for that. They don't need the money.
We got a lot of cow pastures out here.
But anyway, I am,
Right.
you know, I'm openly, we are communicating with Dominion Power about putting solar on top of that roof. Anyway. And they're coming to an EDC meeting in April to talk about it. Yeah. That's it.
All
That's
right,
all I got.
So we're gonna start the 30-day leases.
You help me there, Gary.
We need to have language that they understand that July 1st, their
Okay, all right.
expense is increasing. And that we're working towards that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't believe we'll stay too long on it, but it had to be talked about.
And then we have Board of Supervisors, staggered terms and pay supervisor work. And Mr. Reynolds, we're gonna talk about the staggered term. I believe that's your topic.
Yes, sir. So I was able to find some information on, from the video.
I think that's what
Code
the-
that pertains to, I believe, to our acting chairman, Collins. This is actually the code itself. Primarily what it's saying is that you probably have to do a referendum or some kind of you have to change the orders, I guess that currently,
So we have to do some kind of referendum to do this.
yes, sir, you could,
Do you have to do a referendum to do it if this board just votes on it but don't act on it till the next election?
Well, I think the citizens will still need to know that that's what you're planning.
You'd have
Oh,
to have,
absolutely.
it's an actual ordinance.
Yeah.
So we have to pass the ordinance.
Yeah, possibly could get it on our ballot for November. I have to talk to the Department of Elections and
Oh, as a referendum,
Yes, sir.
okay. Which the clock would fall okay with that, because then y'all's election would be the next.
Next 27.
The next one.
Ours would be the following.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, 27.
So you got 5 board members, let's say it passes.
Mhm.
Then how do you say, well, who's gonna be the first group that goes 2 years?
The board will decide which members would be the staggered ones. You guys will determine if it's 2 or 3 of the members. And then y'all will decide.
So you can just do evens and odds and,
Right.
you know, just decide which one goes first. And that's why I said if we enact this, if I was to get reelected, I would volunteer to do it in 2 years after the election. You know, to get it rolling.
I do have, I had a citizen have the counter argument. I think I told John this. This takes away the citizens' ability to get rid of us all at once because they want to.
Have to wait 4 more years.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, 2 more years.
yeah.
So,
Well, but truth be told about that, that citizen can only vote for one person in that one district where they live.
Right.
So,
There was the only one on the ballot.
so once you get past that first
But
year,
this ain't any chance of getting rid of us, even if they want us all.
once you get past that first year, let's pretend it's John's and they didn't together, John votes, so let's pretend it's that. They would run just like y'all did, and then, but that term would be 2 years.
That's
The
right.
next group that replaced them, well, they still run, then the next one would be 4 years.
4 years, that's right.
Then y'all would
So if we
always
want
stay
our
on 4.
term in 2 years, then we'd be in 4.
That's right. That's right.
Right, am I saying that right? Y'all,
Yes.
I'm saying it right?
Yeah, it's just in order to get it working.
Just that first.
You would never have all 5 supervisors on the same ballot.
Right.
Correct.
You would only have 2 and then 3.
2 and then 3,
It's
2
a-
and 3, 2 and 3.
It's more of a continuity of government for something to change, especially with all these, projects and stuff that are going on. You're not looking at just this board. The next board that comes in 28, that board is not going to see the completion of these projects.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
A good example was the period of time that, and I didn't realize it, I think it was Celia as Elsie added them up. There were 6 county administrators from the time that Mr. Work left to when Mr. Bowen came to work. And they did have some continuity on the board, but then the day Mr. Bowen came to work, there was 4 new board members. 1 left with 4 years of experience.
Huh.
So that's a kind of a firestorm to try to, there were things that we were asking as board members that had already been asked years before.
Right. But we didn't know.
But we didn't
But
know.
we didn't know.
And we didn't have the county administrator history, and we didn't have the board member memories.
It's just like the judge's letter hit May of 23. Steve was gone within a month, I think, of that. Ted was gone within a month or 2 of that. Then we had county administrator, then Steve. Then a new board too. All that within 6 months.
And I think, Ronnie, didn't you tell me town
Who
council
did that, in 23? They staggered their council seats. Yeah. So I have some of that literature in the office.
Yeah, the reason I brought it up, John has mentioned it, but if we gotta either we have, I guess you petition the court for a referendum, how does that?
Yeah,
be
that is a
petitioned?
part of the whole process too after.
I didn't realize you had to do a referendum. I thought you just could do it, I didn't know you had.
Well, you do have to revise your ordinance.
It says here, the governing body of any county may by ordinance provide that the county board of supervisors be elected biennially for staggered 4-year terms. In lieu of an ordinance by the board of supervisors, the registered voters of the county may file a petition
In lieu of.
in lieu of. So we can pass the ordinance. That's
Yes, you
just a
can.
public hearing.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we have to have a referendum.
Not to pass the ordinance.
If we do the ordinance, it's just a vote. If the citizens want to get rid of us by petition, they have to get the referendum, which could be us as a group or us
We
individually.
don't have to do it.
That's right. All they
We
do
don't have
is,
to do it.
it's, I think it's 10% of the voting body and they take it to the judge and the judge makes a decision at that point. That's always been there. That doesn't affect, the staggered terms doesn't affect that at all. They get a term, they go get a petition anytime.
10% of the
I think
vote.
it's 10%.
Yeah.
In that district.
Of your district.
Yeah, no, it's 1,000 people voted, then 100 people needs to sign a petition, you go in front of the judge.
For each district
Yeah, however many the numbers end up being.
in that district,
That's right.
10% of
The
that.
actual vote, the vote count. So,
That's right.
so 3,000 people voted for you. You're gonna
300.
have 300 signatures.
Uh,
It does mention something about, I guess, in one of the meetings, I guess you wouldn't even know about it.
Is there,
Name?
what additional expense are we creating for the citizens?
None.
None?
No, I mean, you have an annual budget that covers you guys' salaries.
But as far as polling stations, polling
No,
workers?
no difference. My ballots are done by districts anyway, by polling precincts.
Mhm.
Certain polling precincts would have each or a couple of you on their ballot, depending on where the votes live. It's just a matter of getting my printer to make the ballot look correct.
And this is one of the, not long after he got it, it's one of the first conversations he and I had, and it was, it seems like $5.5 bucks.
We're both there.
That's right.
Mr. Elder, so you would draft the ordinance? Okay. What's, I'm not gonna poll you guys, are you guys interested? Does anyone else have any comments, more comments? Interested, not interested?
I'm interested in what you want to do.
I'd be in favor of this simply because, like I said, it's a more continuity of government. And the other thing is, you never know what's going to happen with a as you were speaking of it, with a county administrator. You know, new board comes in, they remove the county administrator, anything like that, and all of that just pretty much shuts down anything that's going on, and then you're running into tremendous legal fees at that point as well. So to me, it just makes sense at this point right now. Another county has been very successful. I know Prince George has done it for.
I guess that when you make the ordinance, we don't say which, we gotta decide that later, which
It could
district.
be any two districts. You could, it doesn't have to be.
And it can be three.
Because I've heard people say they draw straws and all that kind of stuff.
First time you could do 3 districts.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then go back to 2.
That's right.
I'm just saying,
Well,
I volunteer.
I would too, to do the first, yeah, me too.
If I was to get reelected in
Now,
27.
you're saying that you're volunteering, but if there's an opponent, then you were signing them up for 2 years.
That's right. That's
Got a
correct.
opponent, that's right. Be signed up for 2 years on.
I think it's totally up to the citizens. It needs to go to a public hearing, and if they want to sign, if they don't, fine.
Okay, so you're in favor of having an ordinance drawn for a public hearing. Mr. Ingram?
That sounds good to me. I mean, like I said, I don't have any leaning one way or the other.
Okay. All right,
We'll draft it.
draft it and take a look at it.
They'll have a public hearing and let the people say what they want.
Yep.
Mr. Rose, can I ask you a question? If this 1 cent sales tax were to go through and be signed by the governor, could we have a referendum in November? Or would we have to wait longer?
I think you have to wait for the governor's action.
Yeah, but what I mean, but if she were to sign it, would that give us the go ahead, then we can have a referendum at that
On
time?
the ballot in November? This
Yeah.
coming November?
Yeah. Okay, well, I just, that's why I'm asking, just,
I think it's just a matter of, I already notified them this morning.
Right.
You guys talking about it. Get some documents I have to get them to them. You guys have to, I guess, provide me the orders.
right. Okay, all right, thank you.
All right,
All
and
right,
then,
thank you, Ron.
Mr. Rourke, you want to talk about pay?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just my personal opinion on that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. My
pleasure. Thank you, Ron.
It's just that, you know, I know how much time goes in this stuff. I know I'm not talking about money out of pocket. I mean, we have ways that we can get reimbursed for actual money out of pocket. Just with what the citizens are dealing with, most of your towns for the longest time anyway never got paid. I just assumed as the board of supervisors until the county got back under control, didn't see paid.
I did include, Mr. Roy, what all those that get paid.
Right, I saw that. I appreciate that.
So,
how in comparison to what I was getting paid and stuff?
We're the lowest.
We are?
It starts with Prince
Oh, you
Edward,
got it right
they
here.
get 10,000, and it goes on down, we're not even on the list.
Here we are, we're on the list.
Well, they.
Number 89.
Number 89, no, we're number 89.
They don't go on this year.
Here's my thoughts on pay. I would hate to vote to tell somebody who's gonna get elected, you're not gonna get paid. I think if a supervisor gets elected and decides, well, I don't wanna get paid, that's up to that supervisor. But as far as me voting to tell them, no, if you get elected in my place, you're not gonna get paid, I'm not in favor of that. I would not want somebody doing that to me, and I certainly don't wanna do it to somebody else. If somebody gets on the board and says, well, I don't wanna get paid, say so.
But the
Well, if
code.
it-
but
the code requires payment.
Requires payment.
So that supervisor can choose to donate back
That's what
to
I'm saying.
whatever.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
we actually do have a planning commission member, I'm not gonna use that name, that feels very, very strongly about not getting paid. And when he gets his money, he comes up there and gives it back to the county. But in our Bright system, we're paying everybody equally. And if he wants to donate it back, he donated it back.
But if you donate it back, then you're giving your income taxes off of it, aren't
I ain't taking that far over.
I'm just thinking.
You're better off,
I mean, we
you're better off
still
donating
get
it to the
1099.
food bank or the church.
Say you,
Because you-
Saying,
say you.
but not giving it back to the county.
I'm just trying to get to that 10% cut.
Yeah, I understand.
And I mean, anybody that's doing this at this level down here for money anyway is shameful.
Yeah, for $384, that don't cover my fuel coming to me.
Right.
Well, people ask me what I get paid, they start laughing at
Me too. Same thing to me, but they
me.
want
I
to.
mean, it just, I don't feel comfortable telling somebody else, well, if you get elected, you're not getting any money.
But that's what would have to
I
take place.
think
You
if
have to
that,
put your
if
next board, right?
that
That's right.
happened, if people don't do it for the money,
That's right.
but having the reimbursement for the gas is good, I spend 10 times of what this is giving me. But it's already hard enough trying to get people to run for office. They got zero.
So you might
It'll be
potentially,
even harder.
yeah. So you
Well, I
might-
mean, I financed a moped based on my county salary, so I need mine. It's a 6-year note.
The debt to income, that pushed you over. didn't it?
It did.
All right, well, it doesn't sound like we can revisit that
Well,
later
I
if
mean,
y'all want,
if
doesn't
you
sound
wanna
like
give
it.
up, if you wanna give us some of the committees are paid, and you take the money for payment, but if you don't want it, give it back.
They tried to get rid of that too.
On the committee.
Yes.
What's the highest paid committee they think?
Social service.
Was that like $200 a month?
What is
It's $100 a month.
$100 a month.
When I first got on that board, tried to get rid of that too. So I'm very consistent. Regardless of who else is pissing about it, it doesn't matter to me.
All right,
We'll
we'll move on to number
put that-
6.
put that one off to the side.
Put it on
Hooray.
the side. All right. So this is Buddy Hyde, we're talking about Code Red.
It's Cotter.
Code,
It's Cotter.
so Code Red, I think I told some of you guys that there was a problem.
The computer reads it, it says Cotter.
I think I told most of you guys there was a problem with Code Red last month. And so Buddy's been working on fixing it. It did get out into social media that something was wrong.
I'm sure it got out.
So this is really,
Like everything else.
this is just educating you guys so you understand it's being looked at and you can answer questions if a citizen asks you about it. You have an answer.
Sure. Yeah, this won't take but a few minutes, Mr. Chair. Pretty straightforward. I think we've resolved the issue that Mr. Collins is talking about. Basically, it's not something a contract even addresses. It's the user side of it. So your telephone, if you don't set it up in your phone, and it sounds like all of you had, and that's really, I think, the common problem. I didn't get any more than maybe 5 phone calls countywide on it. So I think it's just a matter of setting it up right in your phone. But just to give you a little bit of history here. So Code Red, and I'll get to these forms right here because Mr. Collins asked me to bring in a contract. So we got about 6,600 contacts on Code Red. We've been with it for over 5 years. Mr. Procyse handed it off to me. When I came on board, Mr. Rourke and Mr. Procyse started it. During this ice storm, it was suggested that we consolidate all 4 accounts, the 3 towns in the county, because everybody was running a different system. So that was one of the things that I was tasked with when I came on board. Well, we made that happen in 22. We consolidated everybody, and that was, I think Phil Muskovic was also a champion of that too. So that's working well. I mean, we consolidated it, and what we have is we have a manager in each town. Each clerk is a launcher of the alerts, and then I am here along with Sheriff Jones and the dispatch center. So we have several people that can launch code. With that said, we worked, it worked well. It worked well under all of this, and then we renewed it. You can see there in 25, we just renewed it for a 3-year contract. I think Ms. Procyse had it on like a 4-year maybe. Anyway, it ran out to that and we renewed it for 3. I didn't want to go 5. I just thought we needed to leave our options open. So we did 3, and you can see the figures there, 77.31 a year. And then when we did that, then we had a cyber attack around Thanksgiving, and that was nationally. A
I
lot
was
of
gonna say, make sure it's national.
make sure that the public knows, because it went on social media that we got cyber attacked. No, we did not. This was done on a national level, and everyone in the country that had Code Red was affected by it. So what Code Red did, they were based out of Maryland, is they rebooted the system. We didn't lose any of our users in Nottoway County, but it was kind of all unorganized. It kind of got dumped back in the pot, if you will, and it wasn't as organized as the 3 towns and myself had it before the cyber attack. So with that said, after the reboot, we used it a few times. You know, we had some events in December, and I look back and I did have a successful test on the 8th of December. We never lost it. We were able to call a hotline to get it done during the rebuild, and we didn't have to use that option. And then when it was back online, I sent a test that on the 8th, and then we had something going on in Crew, I believe it was. Phil Morgan had we were looking for a juvenile on the 26th of December. It worked well for that.
Now,
So
is this text message or call?
this is all. This is actually a lot of different ways. If you sign up for it, you can get text, phone.
So the
voice.
citizen has to sign up for it.
Correct. And
So what we currently get on here is a state service, right?
what do you?
No, that's Code Red.
But I didn't sign up for anything,
right.
but it comes up, like tornado or something like that.
Well-
It'll beep, go real, or a missing child alert will come up on my phone.
The Amber Alert.
Yeah. So what you're getting,
Yeah.
well, I looked and you're not on it. You're getting Amber Alert and you're getting National Weather Service through another feed.
So I'd have to, is there a hotline you call to get on?
Well, you can get on our website. We have a thing. Susan and I put that up.
And how many you said it's on it currently? Not a week
It's 6,600 contacts.
on it right now.
Yes, sir.
So not quite half the county.
Correct.
Okay,
And our number is higher than most.
okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's good, but maybe they don't know about it.
Yeah, they assure us that most counties run around 30%.
Okay.
So we're actually on the upper
What
echelon
happened
for that.
when that one went out in December? It went to one of Steve's phones. It didn't go to both his phones. It didn't come to my phone at all.
Okay.
And then we have a citizen called me and said, I heard a Code Red went out. It didn't go to my phone. So that's when I called Buddy, and we started realizing that something had happened.
Yeah. So we've taken.
When we
them one
back
by
up to the
one.
money, buddy, and then we go forward, but backing up to the money, the 77.31.48, is that for, that's 2-year subscription fees, what I'm saying.
All right. So the first page I gave you that has a 23,000 on it,
Uh-huh.
that's a total 3-year contract. So when you break
So
it
that's what you
down,
pay for 3 years. When you break it down, come to the 77.31.
but you only pay 77.31, and I brought the invoice.
All right, when you combine the towns to the county, do they paying their part of that?
No, we take it all now. That was part
But
of the
they was paying-
consolidation.
But they was paying their own.
Everybody was paying about the same amount. So it's causing the taxpayers to pay times 4.
To pay times 4.
Times 4.
Three towns.
Basically, unless, if you lived in one town, you were paying twice. Because you also, you had the Nottoway system and then you had the Blackstone system. So you see. what I'm
Right, so
saying?
it should have been combined together, but my question is, are the towns paying anything?
No, they're not. No, they're not. Part of the
So
agreement.
it saved them some money.
Correct. It was a partnership. In 22, we all talked about it. And at the time.
Well, they would have, for them not to have to pay anything, they would have said, they'd have been a fool to say, no, I don't want nothing to do with that if y'all gonna pay for the service.
It was easier to streamline it into one system. And for the money amount, it was just one system for
Oh, it makes a whole lot
77.31.
more sense,
Correct.
but I don't know why the towns didn't pay their part, because they was paying before.
Partnership.
Did we-
Partnership. Took a lot of discussion.
It's like a one-sided partnership.
It's short end of the stick is what I call it.
It's kind of, yeah, and I know they pay in dispatch too. So,
They
yeah,
are paying this back.
right. But this comes out of the 911 fund. So this doesn't come out of my budget. It doesn't come out of the general, I guess it is general, but it's a 911 fund, which comes from the state of Virginia. We get 240 some thousand from communications tax, and we put some of that in a 911 fund. So
The 911 fund needs to fund the payments to the radio communication.
and just like everything else, they all pay in the communication system
Right.
over here. So we can visit that if you'd like to. But anyway, 7730.
I'm not trying to call
We
no
only
preacher
pay
with
it
it,
one
man. I just
time.
want to be fast.
Right. Okay. Well, 1 year at a time is all we pay. So we've only paid, here's the invoice right here, the process with Logan, 7731. So let's move to the forward on what Mr. Collins was asking me. Now, I don't have the written contract, but I know what it says because it was DocuSign. And I can get that written copy, but I went into the.
Are they providing the service that we're paying for, was my question.
Yes, they're providing everything that they had in the contract, but here's where they breached it. And this is how we can get out of it.
If we want to.
If we want to. They breached it because of the cyber attack. That's addressed in every contract of these mass notification systems. So when the cyber attack happened in Thanksgiving, I started getting all these phone calls from the other companies, you can imagine. So, and I called it shark circling in the water. And it was, because it was a national thing. So everyone called, and at the time, I talked to the towns, we all agreed, we're just gonna try to rebuild, and we're gonna stick with this company. And so far, it's been fine, but we are getting these glitches, and the customer service at times has been a little weak. So there are some things that I've observed. We also are not too happy about the divisions being restored, like the Blackstone Crew in Burkeville. That's been a slow go. Whereas the county is fine, and I'm able to launch for the counties, towns.
So when a town launches, it's just for their citizens?
That's correct. The way we have it set up is like a division.
Region.
So Jennifer Daniel is the one for Blackstone. So if Jennifer has a water line break, we all have an agreement that anything that happens in Blackstone, she can launch it there and nobody else sees it. If there's a tornado, Buddy will launch it, or Sheriff Jones, or the dispatch. If a crew water line breaks, Tiffany Sisk will launch it. And then likewise for Burkeville, Jamie Osborne will launch. So those are our 3 people that can get these.
So are they able to use it now?
No, they're not. I'm able to launch for them. So their training is coming up. We've been trying to train for about a month, and we'll get emails back and forth. And Jennifer wrote me this week and said she's ready next week. So what we can do is sit down and train with them. But right now, they're not without alert capability, because all they have to do is call me.
But buddy, don't the school have the capabilities of doing it too, and it only goes to the students?
They do, and I wanted to mention that when we get to this last page. You're exactly right. And I was going to give you some examples of this other system. So if there's no questions on the 7731, that is 1.5 years into the contract, which will be August, will be 2 years. That's how much is left on the contract. Now, Everbridge is a company that's on state procurement. They are cooperative purchasing. They are the top company in Virginia, and the Virginia State Police uses them. VDEM that I deal with at the state level uses them. They were one of the first ones to call us when the cyber attack happened. But I called them back and I said, I think we've got a renewed interest. We just want to talk. We're not going to make a commitment. We want to talk, and I want to share it with you. Is that they are able to come in and set everything up and do all the work and do it in 2 days. They'll charge us nothing for 6 months, which would actually take us to year 2, the end of year 2 with Code Red. So we wouldn't have to pay Everbridge for 6 months. And then their quote is on the back of the handout. Their quote is $7,000 a year. And they will allow us to do a 1-year contract infinitely and renew it. They're not requiring a 3-year, not requiring a 5, and it's the same price for all. So that's a $731 savings. I know that's not a lot. But their capabilities are much greater, and here are some of the users. Amelia had Code Red. They just left for this reason, and they've gone to Everbridge. Chesterfield is using Everbridge. Mecklenburg has gone to Everbridge. Halifax in Virginia is gone.
But you educated enough on that.
And
In my
Piedmont
opinion,
area,
I think you just need to make a decision who you think's in the best interest of the county.
Sure. And that's what I was
my opinion.
just going to ask you, that if it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is not jump too quick, not knee jerk. And I'll get with the 3 towns and we'll have a demo of this.
Well, it's
Evergreen.
concerning that we're paying and they're not able to launch their particular emergency without you. You're one person and you've got 3 towns and they all have individual problems. So I still feel like we're paying for something that, we're not getting.
Yeah, I think the customer service is.
Why don't you
the main thing we're getting right now.
Just advise us later on after you've had some meetings with towns.
Now, do you want me to come back? Obviously, this is already budgeted and we've already
I don't
paid.
see, I don't see the need.
I think we make a decision amongst us emergency service and town clerks
Yep.
and town managers. And if they like Everbridge, it's a wash. It's actually a little less.
Yeah, $7
They have to, and the attorney will have to send a letter saying we're.
Correct. And what I was gonna do is call him tomorrow because you know how DocuSign expires? I can get the paper copy, send it to you, let you look at the breach,
Okay.
cyber breach, to see if that's game to be able to get out of it. And I think we can have a friendly parting of the ways, according to these companies. They said they're doing it for all, others like Amelia, they just did. They just did a,
Okay, well, that, like I said, the main reason you're here tonight is because people have started to talk about it, so now the board members can answer, yes, we know about it, we're working on it.
That's correct. And what I want to tell everybody that's viewing tonight, I know we don't have many here. I just talked to Woodson. But anybody that has got the code red, just go into your phones and you'll be fine. Just go in and set your phones. You all approved that tonight.
And name the phone, name the number, code red,
And make
so
sure
it's
you
in your
put
contacts.
the legacy number. And the reason we went with the legacy number, I'll close out with this, is the number 206 was a new one in Seattle. And I think Dickie, you saw it.
Nobody answered it because it's in Seattle.
And the 866 was a legacy number. And I talked to Walter Mack Osborne about that today. And anybody that was under the old original, like when Mr. Prosite set it up, had an 866 number. So I don't know why in the world they didn't stay with that. I can't answer that question.
We speaking of now, the 866 number.
It's their number they used to launch.
The original code red number that everybody had named in their phone.
It's a corporate number. It's a
Yeah, I
corporate.
mean, if you can remember it by heart, it's like 866-867-5309.
Man, I heard that on TV when I was a kid.
Actually, it's pretty easy. That's 5,000. They asked for 5,000.
We are,
But Mr. Chair, that's it.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
You make
How
that
can we
decision.
promote this, advertise? 'Cause a lot of people still don't
I
have it.
didn't know nothing about it. I'm
What
on the
can
damn
we,
boat.
what can we do to shoot it out there, put it on our website, something?
Well, we already have that. We've had it up for forever. We have it on our website and Susan has it really easy.
But
to
see,
find.
but the fact that you didn't get something means you didn't know about it.
A lot of people know.
So
about it, they don't want
I
it.
didn't get the alert, and then when that citizen called me, I said, I didn't get the alert. Yeah, I called you, you said, yeah, there was, and I called Steve. One phone was no phone.
That's right.
So just because you missed it, you didn't get it, it means you didn't know that.
That's right. Steve is right. Some people don't.
We'll have the 866 number be on the website. I think it went out in the code, it went into code red today to name it.
Did you give him a contract to review?
I haven't. I got it here.
well,
Can you
I
give it to
had to
him?
get to school
Okay.
and put it off my phone.
Yeah.
So,
He got a contract.
I just want to finish his Noah's question real quick. You can also go to Facebook page and you go to our website and Susan has actually got it on the front where you click on code red. It's got the new enrollment form. And what I think I'll do is give it to Billy too.
Yeah.
I think if we give it to Billy, I think it'll be a more widespread and let's pump it up out there. Because some people don't do Facebook.
Right. Right.
All right, we'll move on to number 7. This is Supervisor
Thank you, brother.
Ingram, cigarette tax.
I did this for Supervisor Coe.
I knew he did.
Yeah, kind of come back with a solo
I'm
thing.
gonna
Yeah.
say
No, we were talking about ways to raise money and looking at what we could do and could not do. The problem we have is food taxes are all in the towns. So we couldn't do anything with that. The only thing we got that would be out in the country, outside of the towns, would be a cigarette tax. And we have the power to do that. We can't tax alcohol.
We talking about like Dalton's and Spaniel Store and
That's right.
Dollar General,
County line.
County Line,
County line,
It
yeah.
would-
anybody else.
Anybody else would hurt them a little bit. So dogs would sell no more cotton cigarettes, both tokens. The $83 at Dalton, the 83 pennies at Wawa.
That's just a suggestion.
He's trying to generate
it's,
funds.
the number that was thrown out was we might get.
You'd have to
$20,000.
abstain.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you're part of a group. You'd have to read something and say that you had a conflict, but you were part of a group.
and then vote my vote on it. The only reason I would vote no is not to save
No,
$3
we-
when you try a cigarette.
That's fine.
It's to help them do little convenience
So we
stores
could
sell
do
that
it.
cigarette. But and how much would it be? That'd be another thing to say. I think
Well, actually,
Blackstone,
you'd have to,
you have to figure
discussion.
that out.
This is for discussion.
Yeah.
Don't not even-
I think since we are.
This is not
discussing-
$2 a pack, though.
I think Blackstone's getting 36 cents, if I'm not mistaken.
They could, you know,
Does
I don't.
Dalton, I mean, if he's asking, does Dalton sell food? I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah, Dalton got
So we
fried
could
chicken.
have a sales tax for food.
Food tax. And it really would be fair to have that.
They got
Because the
fried
town's
chicken
got
and
the
everything
tobacco
else.
tax.
Spangle was selling.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the bowling alley was selling food
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
Bowling
at
alley.
one time.
So we've named 6 or 7
Yeah,
businesses.
sell alcohol, gotta sell food.
So,
Is the county line market considered, I ain't gonna ask you, Steve, don't you answer that, cause you're gonna encrypt yourself.
no,
Is the county line considered the Nottoway County
No.
or Prince Edward?
Prince Edward brought
They
it.
said first ever.
I told you no answer, Steve. I try to protect you.
But,
But you might not be sure.
yeah, I'm not really, I'm
That's
not.
what I would say, I don't know.
Get a survey.
That's why they call it county line, nobody knows.
That's right.
So,
It used to be a little place up
So-
on 307 to serve food.
so that's an ordinance then. That'd be another, so you want Gary to do an ordinance for the cigarette tax?
Like I said, I'm just throwing this out for discussion. It's not that
Meals
much money.
Or the
It is
food.
money.
Why would
You wanna do it on the cigarette or do it on the meat?
Well, meals will catch everybody. If
Yeah,
they're hungry.
but we need to find out how much we think it would generate.
Right.
Is it
That's
gonna
I
be
thought you said
worth
you
it?
didn't mind, you said, man, it didn't
But
make a
would
difference,
it
you
be
need every
worth
dollar.
it? Because whose office is it gonna go to? The collection part of it.
The general fund in Nottoway County.
I know,
Yeah.
but who's gotta
Treasurer.
take care of the paperwork and putting it in the system and all that? Is it gonna be worth it?
It's already in there.
It will be the,
Sorry, Nina.
The county's collecting any tax currently, it's already in
Like,
there.
I said, if it's already built into Bright, then,
We're collecting a sales tax.
because
This
some
would just
things
be a
we wanna
separate
do it
type of
right, we
sales
can't
tax.
do it.
yeah, I mean, that's what they do, they collect taxes, right? I mean,
Yeah,
She-
but I mean.
But
I'm
she
just
collected tax,
asking.
didn't she collect tax on them, somebody collected tax when they did those gambling machines, right? Then they took them back out.
So the way it works is if you go into a place that sells prepared food, and you have a meals tax, place selling the food collects the tax and they hold it in escrow for the county, basically, and just pay it
Right.
over.
Just like they do with lottery for the state.
And yes, it's just, you're supposed to report
Which is
What you
something
sold.
you're selling, and, some localities will do a thing where if you pay it on time every month, you get to reduce it by
I wanna say Blackstone is
Burkeville does that.
7%.
Burkeville does that. They offer a 10% discount if you pay it.
So you don't prepare food.
It is, oh man, it's low.
So
I
John,
think
you
it's
don't
low
prepare
as well.
food. in there. You don't prepare, people don't eat there.
Not under his business. He'll have people cooking stews and stuff.
But in Nemo,
That's
it's like
usually
a
I still
fundraising.
pay taxes on that.
You do pay them.
I do.
on what?
On prepared like stews and stuff like that.
Oh, really? But Mimo's has to pay regular.
That's right.
Right.
Like then you do a little sick.
Counties are capped.
Let's,
Oh, really?
Towns are not capped, but counties are.
you can get Logan to look and see what the percentage would be. And then we can do the math, so Ms. Norton can have a dollar figure.
I mean, we just need to see, is it worth it? If it-
Right, I understand what you're saying. If you go collect
$20,000 from it off of
and you
30
spend,
cents on a pack of cigarettes.
and you
is
spend
it
100
worth it?
staff hours, then you just.
I didn't think it was, I don't know why, but I didn't think it'd be staff hours. It would be the business has to take it. Well, so we get sales tax. We get
So
a
the
1
business,
cent.
the business sends a check in, so it's just,
That comes from the state.
it's just the treasurer.
Right, but
The
that's
treasurer
They send
making the call.
that money to us.
Look, I think
No,
Mr. Ingham is trying to
commissioner,
protect
that
our
was-
salary. He done created a way where we gonna get paid to be able to keep our money.
Well, that's what I was just here to say. If you wanna make that money, we can do it by
So
just reducing the supervisor's salary.
if
to
Logan-
$20.
And
That's
then
what
if
it
you
is.
tax, right?
If Logan,
That's
if we investigate,
Yeah, I get Logan.
Logan to investigate, we're gonna move on. Number 8, upcoming budget meeting, March 26th. This is your all-day meeting to ask people to cut.
Yeah, and Andrew did put it, just look at the calendar, keep that calendar in front of you and keep it in your pocket, hang it up at the,
I think you're talking to me, right?
Hey,
If this ain't said last time,
yeah, yeah,
It'll be on my refrigerator.
so your wife be happy about it.
Exactly.
Okay, but, what we're really thinking about doing, and I don't know what day it is, but on the 26th, Bill, that morning, and when the budget committee agreed on this, let the department heads come and do this bill, get, I think the way y'all worked that last year was great. Bo he's a clock watcher. He cuts them off, give them a piece of candy, and we'll have lunch at 12, but the fire departments will get, the 3 fire departments will come together, they get an hour, with more time, because we need to have some good
They're all
discussion.
at the same table?
Yeah, all the same table. Then Mr. Welch will stay for the virtual, EMS part of it, then for the second hour, and then third hour, Nottoway County Emergency Squad. That's kind of how we unfolding it. And Buddy would be in there with us the whole time.
Oh, wait a minute, can we, I had mentioned this a month or two ago, but the citizens, I think, would love to see.
We're gonna do it in here, live stream.
Thank you.
We heard you.
Thank
We
you.
heard
That's
you.
good.
We
That's
heard-
good.
We heard you, John, that's right.
I appreciate
So
it.
y'all will be sitting at this table and then let them sit at the round table here with us.
Okay. Yes, I
All
will.
right, yeah, we heard you. All right, look, all right, that's it on that.
So everybody add that to your calendar, March 26th,
All day.
10 to 3.
Hopefully we'll hit-
9-4, brother.
Thought it was
9 to 4, 9 to 4.
10 to 3?
No, we're gonna try to get you here at 3, we're gonna try to get you here at 3 o'clock. Buddy's gonna, he talks fast, we're gonna move fast. Buddy's gonna help y'all get out early.
All right.
A lot of pressure. on you. All right,
We got comments from the members of the board, then we'll have a discussion about closed session, so, Mr. Toth?
No, I ain't got no comments tonight. The weather's outside is frightful.
Yeah, Cavs just got warm.
Yeah, that's right, and then it'll cool back off. Grass growing, now it's cool back off.
So, Mr. Ingram?
Is this something I need to talk about now?
Well, like I said, it's not, go ahead.
You can, yeah.
I'm very concerned. We received a letter yesterday. Now, as far as I know, only 6 people received this letter.
The Board of Supervisors.
The Board of Supervisors and Mr. Bowman. They're the only ones that received this letter. And at the top of that letter, it said, confidential attorney-client privilege communication. I get on Facebook this afternoon and I end up on YouTube, and there's the editor of the Blackstone paper talking about what's in this letter. I want to know how he got that information. I am super PO'd. I don't know who I can trust anymore.
I just opened mine, so I hadn't seen it till just now.
I don't know who we can trust anymore. And then somebody confronted the editor on Facebook, and he said, well, he'd gotten it from 2 other citizens before this. I want to know how this got out. I'm sitting at the table with the people that saw this letter, and right there in red, it says confidential attorney-client privileged communication. How did this get out? It was not me.
And I want to reiterate behind Vicky, same thing. I mean, this jeopardizes our attorney-client privilege. It's about the courthouse. It jeopardizes everything we're working on. It's not, we're not being transparent to the citizens. We have to follow the rules and the guidelines. And it specifically says attorney-client privilege. We're jeopardizing our relationship with our attorney. Why does he want to bother?
and I guess we're in open session, so we can talk about this, but, I did, I
I can't talk about it specific to this letter.
no, okay.
Mighty
But-
well,
But
the guy was quoting it verbatim on Facebook.
I did,
I'll follow the rule. I'm not gonna do that.
the purpose of what we were trying to accomplish is that Gary and I had conversation, and we come to the conclusion that he has a lot of conversations with the lawyer for the Commonwealth, okay? And he was trying to convey to y'all, hey, this is what's happening on the other side of the fence that you don't know about. And that was really the purpose of that, and trying to, and in fact, he was talking about later on, maybe we should have a town hall meeting to talk more about the courthouse, to educate people, so you wouldn't get to let people know you didn't initiate this, you didn't start this, blah, blah, blah. And that's why it was very confidential. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't read mine yet either.
I just briefly
But
read it.
anyway, but Gary is, and I appreciate you
Right.
doing it, Gary.
That was Mr. Ingram's comment. Mr. Rourke?
I'm not finished. I got another.
Well,
I'm not
Oh,
finished
he
either.
ain't even-
okay, wait a second. Mr. Ingram, continue.
Mr. Elder, will you tell everyone here what confidential attorney-client privilege means?
It means it's strongly against my advice that you disclose it. The rule on attorney-client privilege is typically if I meet with someone, whether it's you all or any other client, I use this example a lot. If you come into my office and you talk to me for an hour about whatever you want to talk about, that meeting is attorney-client privilege. Well, the law says, the rule says, I can't disclose anything. That you can walk out of there and disclose whatever you want. However, you all as a board should act in concert. That means that one person on the board shouldn't go out and disclose things that are labeled attorney-client privilege. If the board as a whole elects to disclose it, well, that's your decision.
Just like that one client that came in the office.
That's right. But it creates a problem.
Considering this situation, Mr. Elder, what is the ramifications of this divulgence by the Commonwealth of Virginia since we're under court order?
I think that's a good question. I think that's a matter. I think at that point we're delving into legal advice that points directly to the litigation that we're currently in right now.
Mhm.
So I think that's a question that should probably be answered in closed session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Rourke,
Okay, well, I got some, I'm still trying to think about this, but anyway, I got some, information I need to pass on to y'all that's been given to me by school board, so, in reference to one of their schools and,
you just want to do that kind of individually?
yeah.
Well, let me know and I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Ms. Norton, you're going, did you have?
I do have one more thing. I received a letter today. Most of you know that I've gone out to the Sunnyside potential solar site. I did receive a letter today from CEP Solar from Paul Cosmins. And he says it's been a while since they have met, but the proposed project is moving forward. I want to let you know we're planning to submit our application for a special use permit for the Sunnyside Solar Project by the end of the month. We're also planning to host a community meeting for the project Wednesday, March 25th at Crew Primary School. They will have advertisements forthcoming. I hope you can attend that meeting. I'll be happy to meet with you or any of the board members.
All right, just for the citizens, it's the Sunnyside project. Can you kind of give a geographic?
It's on the folks' property, Sunnyside Road. It's about maybe a mile and a half down the road on the left.
It's on the left.
And it's way back in the
You can
woods.
see the Johnson
And that's
farm on the
that's
other
a
side.
smaller one. It was
Smaller.
Smaller.
I was
40
like that a
acres.
year ago with the solar company and the landowner, and it ain't about a place in the area. Cause it's totally
So
secluded.
it's gonna be similar to other two small ones,
Yeah.
5 megawatts,
That's right.
4 or 5 megawatts.
Right next,
Not
Right
as
across from Johnson's.
not as
farm.
much disturbance as this project.
very close to the Crew Airport.
Yes.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Norton?
Yes,
All right. As far as the information that's given to this board, the citizens elected us to represent them. And I would hate for our actions to create a liability for those citizens, create more legal fees. I know that for the last month, I wanted to be able to talk more about the PPEA and the courthouse and the pressure that was there. And I had talked to Mr. Bowen about, can we tell somebody? Can we talk to him about it? This was the email we got 10 days ago. Ms. Norton had asked me about it on that occasion. And so please remember that our actions affect our citizens. And if Commonwealth, if this lawsuit gets worse, I mean, we're being sued. So it's their money that we'd have to spend to defend our actions.
Or our insurance company.
Or insurance company.
Mhm.
So just think about that. I know it's very difficult to not answer. When we had the answers, we could just say, well, no, we can't. And that's, Mr. Work and I had that conversation today, and we asked asked each other questions. Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? Can we do that? And so we asked. But just remember that your actions, our actions affect our citizens. And that's all I've got to say. Is there, do we need to go into closed session?
Hey, I'd like to add something about closing comment. I don't know what y'all specifically talking about, but I remember seeing something on Facebook of some red lines ran across out. If somebody would have listened to the last meeting carefully and closely, they would have saw in an open meeting where we had to allocate the funds to get that done.
Yeah, we did, that's right.
It was an open meeting.
Well, that's just,
That was not in secret of any way.
and so the funds are for the schematics.
Correct.
And that's,
And
you
the
know,
schematics
we had
was
sent the
red
judge, here's a plan.
That's
Judge
right.
came back and said, I like that plan, and then he requested the schematics, so then we had to go to interim agreement.
That's exactly right.
So that's the
So that was
order,
open. I
that's the
just
order of
wanted to throw
events.
that out there. That was open.
So that's, do we still need a closed session, Mr.
Hopefully we don't need no.
No, I don't think, I think,
That was what we were gonna discuss. in closed
If
session.
you look at your calendars, April 14th, I've met with English, and they're hoping to but show you what they're doing on the other side of the fence, you know, and I think even, Mr. Rourke has reached out to Mosley. I met with one of them today.
Yeah.
And you asked him, they said y'all had a pleasant conversation, talked for about an hour and answered a lot of your questions, so.
Well, I did ask one other questions from Mr. Bowen. He contacted English for me, and I said, if we pay them public funds, to my opinion, then everything is available for the citizens to
I agree. But
inspect.
he's not arguing with that.
And he said, so March 1st, no,
April
April
1st.
1st, I'm sorry, we're already in March. So once that interim money has changed hands, that's the public's money, that's their money. Then it's going forward, they can look at the plans, they can. that's where
Mr.
we'll-
Chair, just one more point about information that's disseminated, and Gary, I'm sure you can verify this too. Anything we bring into a public meeting, it becomes foiable.
That's right.
So
I'm glad you made that
That's correct.
clarification.
Any notes that you take?
that's right.
What about text message?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
But I think it's gotta be
The
specific.
messages between John and I in regards to the bowl now.
Me too.
Yeah, them both.
Yeah.
All right.
They can't see no text message between my wife and I.
No.
Cause if
It's
it's
gotta
in,
be
then I'm
involved in
assuming.
She said, where are you?
Right. But you said anything we bring in here, we bring in
Can
telephone,
they-
yeah, they can't take my.
Can they
Don't
see
recommend a
this?
closed session.
No, so that's
That's
attorney-client.
what I'm telling you. They
Not
cannot
now.
see this.
Not now, that's been exposed in public. That is now.
By whom?
You.
No, sir, I have not read anything in this
You got
letter.
this in a public meeting.
I have not read anything in this letter, John. All I said was, this showed up on
You
Facebook.
don't
I have
have
not
to
read.
with me. Don't lie with me. I'm telling you, you have made that document.
I have
foiable
not.
by
Have
expect-
I?
But to
See?
clarify that, please clarify that, because by him showing that letter, whether he read from it or not, it is now a foiable document. It doesn't matter what's written on it.
I don't think if you have something, I don't think just by virtue of having a document in your possession that it makes it foiable.
He's made a discussion of it.
If the contents of that letter have become a discussion point in open session,
There
then
you
it's likely foiable.
There
But
you
in this case, what I would say is, it doesn't matter. I mean, quite frankly, this is why it doesn't hurt to have this conversation in open session, because
Right.
clearly it's already out there. So you don't have to FOIA it to get it. You can evidently go online and find it. So.
I'd just like to know how it got
You go
online.
online, yeah. You go online and get it?
Yeah, I would like to know.
You know,
Did you go online? I mean,
you
go
can,
online and get
you
it?
can watch the
I don't
YouTube.
know.
No, all I did was go on YouTube and listen to the gentleman talk about it and
All right.
quote it almost verbatim.
I think y'all can have individual discussions
I
with
think
each
you
other.
can-
We're not gonna do this. I'd like a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Stand up.
See y'all Monday.
Monday. I don't learn a damn thing else. I don't learn that.
If I say roll, call. Don't say roll. call.
Yeah, definitely we got it.
No.